pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dan, would you like to do the prayer?
Everyone would please bow their heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank and praise you for the beautiful weather that you've been blessing us with, and we pray that you watch over the activities of tonight's meeting, that they may be pleasing to you, and that you would guide us in the way that you would want us to act. In your name we pray. Amen.
Okay, we're going to go on to reading and approval of the minutes from the December 21st meeting.
Motion to approve and suspend reading.
Second.
There is a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? If none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Approval of the agenda.
Do we want to add under request of citizens?
Probably under 8B.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to add
Senate's remodel.
remodel under 8B.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented with the addition of 8B Senate's remodel.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? If none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We're going to move down to 7A, traffic fee ordinance amendment.
This is scheduled for the second reading. Met with Chief Wolf this morning. He asked that we consider changing number 4, the violation for careless driving. He said really they haven't issued any citations over the last several years for careless. He had thought it would be exhibition driving for the racing type stuff, the loud equipment and those types of things. So he's asking that number 4 be changed for a violation of exhibition driving under 390803.1, a fee in the amount of $75. And I guess you don't have to approve the reading if you want to have time to take a look at that. If you just want to approve changing that, and then we'll do another reading on it, it's up to you guys.
So any change at this point here would involve then a subsequent second reading?
It wouldn't require it, no, but probably wouldn't be a bad idea.
And then we would publish that once again and then see if there's any feedback.
Right.
I'm assuming, since we don't have anybody in the audience with regard to this topic, you didn't hear anything?
There has been no comments yet, no.
Okay.
So tonight we could do a motion to approve the change.
Yeah, and then still do another reading on it if you want.
Okay.
A lot of you might not know what is, I know what exhibition driving is, and obviously it probably entails more to the definition than careless, correct?
Careless is more with regards to accident type situations,
Slipping through a stop sign and when it's racy and stuff like that. Yeah.
and the exhibition is more of an intentional.
So are we still gonna have the
Careless driving will still be, it's still under North Dakota Century Code and in our ordinances, but we just won't affect those fees.
Okay.
And that fee obviously is less than $40 right now, correct? Otherwise, we want to put it on here as an increase, so.
Yeah.
It would just stay there.
Yeah, let's stay at that 40.
40,
Or 20, excuse me, 20.
40.
That's
Yeah,
what it is.
just
So we
20.
need to change that and add into it, in addition, the exhibition at 75.
So I'll make the motion that we replace number 4 with the term exhibition driving with the appropriate section in the fee of the amount of $75 as suggested by Chief. And then we would do a subsequent second reading.
There is a motion on the floor.
Second.
There is a second. Any discussion?
Had there, I know in our last discussion we were talking about that stop sign thing. Had Jim said anything of concern on any of the other dollar amounts or anything like that?
No, he did not.
No other discussion. Let's do a roll call.
Pillar.
Aye.
Hack.
Aye.
Stern.
No.
Wolf.
Aye. Motion carried. Okay, we'll move on to 8A, building permit.
This is for 202 10th Street Northwest. This is the old church there on the corner of 27 and 10th Street. They purchased the building with the intention of remodeling to do the daycare in there. As I said in the notes, the zoning for that building right now, we'd either have to change the zoning or approve a conditional use permit because the daycare is not a permitted use under that current zoning.
And that would be required prior to the issuance of the building permit?
Correct.
Or is that when they seek their license to do
No.
that particular business?
That would be for the building permit. The licensing is state, so
So a building permit is zone specific,
the actual property is zoned as residential
correct?
3, or
Correct.
residential 1, excuse me. And under our zoning ordinance, residential 1 does not have a light or a zoned use for a daycare. Residential 2 does. Residential 3 would include it because it includes everything under residential 1 and 2, plus some other things.
So in their application for the building permit, they specify what the use of that building would be, and that's where the caveat is.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And it would be cleaner to do the conditional use, correct?
I think it would, go ahead.
Go ahead, Pat.
Well, if you do choose the conditional use, it does have to go through planning and zoning first.
That was my question. Does
Yes.
this all have to go through planning
And
and
there would
zoning
be
before we
a
can?
hearing, and there has to be publication and that sort of thing. So it would delay action, so I don't know what.
Yeah, I don't know that that'll be a real issue. They basically are just cleaning up the property right now.
That's what I
Okay,
was
so
gonna
they're not
ask.
doing
I
any
had seen a fair
construction yet.
amount of trailers and all that kind of stuff over there. So they haven't actually done any
No.
construction yet,
No.
just demo and cleaning, okay.
So really, we have no action tonight, do we? Because we have to wait for the
Well,
planning and zoning?
I guess the thing was how we wanted to proceed. Do we want to proceed as a conditional use, or do we want to rezone? Either one will require action by the zoning board.
But we would have to make a motion here to make the recommendation to do a conditional use permit?
Not necessarily, I guess, it's just looking
If you
for some
just need to-
guidance.
Okay.
Let them know.
Right.
I think I agree with you, Jason, that would be the cleanest, and so why don't we start the process of
Okay.
letting
Conditional
zoning and building and zoning review it and make their recommendation to the board.
use. Okay.
So I got a question, I guess. I know, I guess a couple of years ago, I know this property is supposed to be turned into like, I guess apartments or something, and I thought that we had voted on something back then.
It never was replatted that I'm aware of that was recorded. They came and presented a proposed plat that they were thinking of doing.
Okay, but,
I'll check again, but I don't remember that it was ever recorded to change that actual.
okay.
the lot.
Yeah,
Yeah, as far as I know, everything was still just the way it was.
okay.
But I'll look at it before we
Was
go
that
into it.
before Burnett bought it or after?
No, that
It was
was,
after, it was while Brunette owned it.
I think it might have been down before you.
Must have been.
Yeah,
or-
yeah.
or-
Cause I remember that conversation too, Casey.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were talking about some sort of apartments.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know one of the question was that north side of that property, isn't there some electrical issue where it crossed over into the fence property? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Whatever.
There's, yeah, easement or something.
Yeah.
Like I say, I don't remember that ever being recorded there to actually change those lots,
Okay.
but I'll check again.
Okay,
At least it was sold as one parcel.
Yeah.
So,
Well, but I thought they wanted it like rezoned too at that time.
yeah, they were talking about
Okay.
that, yeah, because there again, multifamily dwellings weren't allowed in the R1, so, yeah. Like I say, as far as I remember, it was never replatted because they sold it as one platted lot now to Bushes, so.
Okay.
okay, we'll move on to the Senex remodel.
All right, thank you. I'm sorry that it wasn't on the agenda. I thought I had it confirmed with
That's not your fault.
Jerry and Monty. Anyway, I got with you Sam Lauer, he's kind of my general contractor. I'll let him take over. I know he's got some plans to show you to see what we're thinking about. His company is Westmore, which is kind of does a lot of petroleum products, tanks.
Thank you.
So on that's the site plan, what, the discussion today was, we met with Monty and Jerry, was about, the addition of that gas island to closer to the road. And the differential, the only thing that they had asked for is, I put the dimensions off of, usually we go off of curb line, or your guys' zoning, or your setbacks usually off of curb. We have gone within 10, usually the canopies can sit 10 feet off the, depending on if it's a front or side or back, rear lot. Usually we don't have them on the front, so side or rear, go within 10 feet. Ours are like 39 foot 10 inches. So it's significantly further off than like we've done much tighter. And then the most important one is that dispenser dimension, which I believe is like 56. It's a little smaller than it is, 59. So, I don't know, you guys, can you see that? My colored one doesn't work, that's kind of why I gave you the one I
Where are
gave
we
you.
looking at here?
I'm
On the
sorry.
west side? No, you're fine.
So the key dimension is off the curb line
Yep.
to our new addition for the canopy is
It's a
27.7, and then the first pump is 39.10, sorry.
Yep.
So yeah, the number that we try to stay off of is, the dispenser is kind of the permanent structure that's physically in your way. So that's at 39.10, but the canopy is 27.7 if you came, you're driving a 16-foot truck, right?
Yeah.
But typically it's what's bolted to the ground, so it goes to the dispenser, not so much the top of the canopy. So that was kind of the setback requirements is what we were discussing as far as how close we were getting to your guys' that roadway.
So nothing at this point would require any kind of variance with what our standards are here?
No.
Okay.
And we also discussed that ADA, due to the current location of the tanks, those are getting moved to the north. And I thought it would be, Paul and I discussed maybe going a little bit further with our new lot, encompassing the whole side there and redoing it. And your ADA sidewalk right now it's got too much pitch if you want to get technical with it. And that's somewhat due to the tank field has to be flat. While we're doing that, I would recommend that we also probably make that much closer to ADA, if not, I don't know why it shouldn't make it, but I'm saying we're gonna get much closer to 2% than what it is today. So that was kind of our, one of the benefits we were trying to bring to the site is that that crosswalk is actually gonna make ADA requirements versus what we have today.
The other thing will be that part of that property is actually city property. So we'll have to come up with a plan on how that'll be done, to be at least
Part of that is going to be city.
closest to the street.
So the lot line is the dotted line running. There's 3 lots on here. So this is one here, 2, there's a third one. And this is where the current lot line is right here. So
They're actually already
co-ops.
on.
Yeah,
Tanks are in your property.
yeah,
And also our double pole sign is in your property.
yeah. So we're co-ops looking at, however you guys are purchasing or leasing that into from the city.
What's in place right now for that? Is there like a long-term lease or something like that? or-
I would be willing to buy the land, or do a lease.
There's nothing.
Nothing in place right
place
now.
right
So
So
now.
there's
since-
no precedent in place for that.
Right, no, so like when we did our pumps on the back, and we had an engineer come to make sure the trucks could make it, they pinned it, and that's when I knew we were on city property.
Yeah.
And, that's quite a long time ago. In fact, Delmer, I visited with Delmer, and I said, maybe, down the road, we should maybe do something, and that never got done. So I just think now we're doing it, I think we need to do, whatever you guys want us to do, kind of, or, whatever we can work out would be fine with us. If you guys want us to purchase it, or if we want to do a lease, that's fine too. Whatever works for you guys.
So then where the new, I guess,
Tanks?
tanks are gonna be at?
Yep.
And the drainage back in the ditch there.
The
I
slope.
know we did some
Yep.
drainage work in here not too long ago, but
Mhm.
how's it all gonna tie in? It's gonna,
That will sheet drain just how it is today,
Okay.
for the most part.
Okay.
I mean, we're pretty much just resurfacing what's there
okay.
and just making it look new.
Yeah.
The only thing that we're gonna add is there's a right off of this building corner, the far corner up, if you guys know, it's right here. They have a gutter, comes down and it creates quite the ice. If you guys ever drive back to the diesel, it's an icy mess. So we'll actually we'll daylight a pipe out to the ditch. So it gets there already, we'll just try to save someone's hip, for the next 15 years.
Yeah.
So same water, just gonna get there a little quicker and not cause an ice storm or an ice disaster up there.
So I'm assuming if we wanted to have discussions about you acquiring then that and making it in its entirety Senex property, then we would have to do some surveying and stuff like that there.
I think it's like 3/4 of an acre, is that right, Sam? Was it like
0.77?
Yeah, but I think so.
And the surveying we would actually
And it's,
do.
so somebody come up with a description to purchase.
Yeah,
it.
total deal description, pin it, and then, you have to have a certified survey for you guys to,
Do the transfer.
I'm guessing it's on that piece of paper that you had, Monty, shows the 3 lots.
Hmm.
Those pins should be out there.
Those pins
It should be,
there,
so
yeah.
it shouldn't be too difficult, but
Yeah.
it's just having a surveyor certify it for you guys to make it.
Sure. So tonight's discussion is just informational, or are we looking for any action tonight?
I would like,
Yeah, I'll take a copy.
yeah. If possible, yes you can.
What do you want tonight?
I would like the yay or nay. And-
On what we want to do with that point
Well,
seven.
that part isn't so important as that, right, Sam, is that we can get going on our.
Your design and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
technically I want to submit the building permit, but I don't, it's kind of like, you kind of want to know your answer before you get too far along here.
I think basically all we really need to do is put a blessing. We don't need a motion for anything. Do we, Monty, or do we?
Well,
It'd be better.
yeah.
It'd be-
Put it
Proceed
in the
forward
record.
with it.
No, I think we've gone through this before, and don't you have to have the building permit here before we can give a yay or nay on it?
Yeah, I know, that's,
We've had this before where somebody
Okay.
wanted
you have a
an okay, but we don't have a building permit, so if we tell you okay, and then you change something, then we're going, well, we've already given you a blessing.
Right.
but now you rearranged everything and, you know,
Right. I
It's-
think they're pretty firm on their plans
Okay.
here, so.
So that actually is, well, I mean, yeah, you're technically right, I get it. I can absolutely submit this as is in that, or I would like, if anything came construction-wise, or, you know, if Paul can sit on it, that's next meeting or whatever that is, that's fine. I just wanted to see if there was any issues you guys had or things I need to add or deduct to it. I wanted to answer anything I could and make sure it was.
and the only other question I have is, have we had our engineers look at? Do they have to look at this?
Jared is aware of it, but he doesn't
Okay.
have to look at it.
Okay, I didn't know if he has to look at their grading or whatever, and if they're changing, okay.
No.
Typically, the only concern you'd have is if we were taking out pervious soil and making it impervious, so you're already blacktop throughout, so you're not gonna add any more groundwater to your system that you've had there since whenever that was
Right.
paved over years ago. Or if I was totally changing the ditch line there, so then that would be a different story, but.
I mean, I'm okay with this project and everything, but the only thing that I don't like is that, you know, they're gonna be building on our, then I guess, property, and
I would be making the recommendation that if we move forward with this, I'd like to see the surveying to make it all for the purposes of this project here, Senex property out there, and come to some type of arrangement with the city for the acquisition of that land.
Mhm.
I would prefer to sell it, my opinion, versus any kind of long-term lease. I think that makes it cleaner. Pat?
Oh, yeah, I would definitely want to see
You
that
know,
survey of them, sure.
yeah, you know, but I guess I don't want to approve of building on some I guess like property that's still up in the air.
Right.
And two, I see other, there must be, I guess, a storm sewer line that runs on that property then too, so then who's gonna be the owner of that? Is it still gonna be us?
Will
Or?
it, will it actually be in the property, or will it still be in the city property?
Which one?
this is this here.
This here,
Well, technically, that would probably, that's,
or are we only gonna sell off a little bit and not go all the way up to the curb?
well, that would have to be I'm guessing your boulevard, that should be in your boulevard.
Yeah,
'Cause
that's in the boulevard.
It's in the boulevard, so it's your guys' property regardless if Sonex's name's on the deed or not.
So where is the actual property line between Senex and
It's the dotted line right off that.
right here?
Yeah.
Yep.
So we would be effectively bringing it all the way out and probably just past the canopy, or
You would go right to the road.
right to the road? Okay.
So then the road, it's like any other so you have up to the road and then, you know, your boulevard grants your municipality the access to it.
Yeah, the easement or whatever.
Yeah.
More or less, I mean.
Yeah, it's just a common, you know, every lot in the
Yeah.
city has it for most of them, some are just bigger than others. So your gas, power, you know, you guys kind of get city gets the rights to do stuff in it, you know.
So if I'm hearing you, what you're saying is you'd like to see that done before we
Before
approve
we approve the
the
permit,
putting the shovel into the ground type stuff. Thoughts? I mean, is that gonna delay significantly the moving forward of the project now?
Do you know, the process of how acquiring the property and coming up with a price point? Is that something that's gonna take, I mean, would that be a couple day acquisition, or is it gonna be? I don't know.
Shouldn't,
Like, a sale would be more difficult than a lease. If it's a sale of public property, your ordinance now requires bidding.
Bidding and all the other
It's
stuff.
Open to the public, so it depends on which route you decide to go.
Do you have does it have to be in the paper 2 weeks, represented for 3 weeks? Is that all your ordinances? Or do you know what the?
I'm not
has to be
sure.
published twice.
once in the paper for
2
twice,
weeks.
2 consecutive weeks.
2
And
consecutive
then is
weeks.
the purchase or the bid the following,
Yeah.
within 5 days of the last publication?
10 days,
10?
within 10
Okay,
days.
so we're about 4 months, right?
That's why the
If you lease it, does it go in the paper?
it doesn't have to be published to lease.
Can you lease it with the terms of buying it later? Start out with a lease and
Lease with option to buy?
with an option to buy. I mean, then while you're leasing it, you can go through the steps of buying.
You guys, so what I'm hearing is they want to start it sooner than a month down the road.
No, it would be,
No,
if, we just need the building permit prior to starting, which I'd say if that's March, we're 2 months to go, yeah, right, so that's good. I would just wanna, I guess if there isn't a whole lot of, I mean, besides someone just saying they wanna buy a bunch of property with tanks on it, whatever, I mean, that's their, yeah, they wanna do that.
Well, yeah, can you do a conditional approval of the permit based upon the acquisition or the exchange of the property? Can you do it like that?
We don't have, oh, I was gonna say, we don't have a building permit in front of us though.
No, but
What I could do is I could submit a permit, so then your next, is you do week lease?
2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
Okay, so the next 2 weeks, if you guys approve that, usually the building permit's not valid until you guys own the property though.
Right.
So,
That's why I think it would be better if we could come up with some lease in the meantime. Then as well, you could do the lease, the building permit all at one meeting in 2 weeks even, for that matter.
But I mean, as Pat actually pointed out though, if this property has never been up for sale, it's gotta go up for bids.
Not for purchase, or I'm not sure if the lease is the same under our ordinance as a purchase.
Well, but you're doing the lease though with, I guess, a
If it
purchase
has the
later.
option to purchase later.
Yeah, so when that,
Or are we just gonna lease and
Purchase.
address that?
I see what you're saying, Casey. 'cause
Yeah, I understand what you're saying too,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
if
you're
we
still
go
gonna have
lease.
to put it up, and if we go that route, then they're gonna do this all remodeling. What if somebody in their wrong mind
Yeah.
wants to
Decides they
purchase
want it.
0.7 acres, which to me sounds silly, but in the books, it has to be.
it can only take one person.
Paul, are you using borrowed money for this project or are you using your own funds?
own funds,
Your own funds?
yes.
Oh, okay. I only ask because a lender would have different requirements.
Well, you know what,
You'd
we
have
are-
some of that stuff in place.
You know, we are borrowing 600,000 from CHS, which is a program they have. They have a program that it's 5 years, no interest. So I just said, yes, I'll take that.
Did they request, though, did they have demands for survey?
No, because they're just kind of helping out, because they want us to, and that money can be used for interior stuff,
Oh, okay,
make things look nicer.
okay, yeah,
Like better equipment,
Yeah.
whatever we need.
yeah.
They just want to help us out.
those funds are actually only used
So they're
inside.
they're not taking a mortgage on the
Absolutely not.
land, okay.
No, because we have money sitting at Senex, and then of course they see how much you got there, and then okay, we'll allow you this much, and
Yeah.
you can, and it's more, and like Sam said, it's most, everything's kind of interior.
Yeah, it would all be on the same.
Inside of the stores, what that money's gonna be used for.
Yeah. Well, from the city's perspective, if you enter into a longer term lease for now, and then you could still always negotiate a sale and go through that process during the lease, even without an option, and the city could still advertise it. If they did sell to somebody else, it'd be subject to the terms of the lease. So if there was a
And,
99-year lease or whatever. then-
right, and I'm okay with a 99-year lease.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm good for 20 years, because then I won't be around anymore. So honestly, I'm okay with the lease. I mean, we've been using it for 21, It's not
True.
affected anybody, and,
True.
you know, if it would be a, you know, whatever you guys would decide, I'm really okay with the lease.
And if it would speed up the process for you guys, you
And
know,
to
all
me,
the
it makes
better.
no difference, because, I mean, I just don't think people even would want something like that,
Well,
so.
yeah,
A
Well,
lease to me is fine. I would be 100% fine with a lease. To me, I got this lease for 30-some years, we haven't paid $1. So I owe you guys $5. So. Just saying. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
so it's not an issue to me. I know when we had our board meeting, they just said they needed lease or whatever the city commission would like to do.
That would be my second choice for the city, because sale to me would be preferable, just because of the taxation.
Yeah.
So on, but if it's speed that you need, you know, if you could wait, if you could delay, I mean, they could still issue whatever they could,
What,
a conditional building permit or something.
when is a local permit, when is the paper published? What day of the week?
Every Thursday.
Well, Thursday.
Yeah, it goes to press Tuesday night and is mailed on Wednesdays, if it's a Thursday date
It's a
one.
Thursday
Thursday
publishing date?
Mhm.
Okay, so, but the city would have to put it in the paper, correct?
Dan would, or no, we would direct them,
Yeah.
but,
Okay,
We do the notice in the paper.
yeah, okay.
so if it made it, I don't know if it's realistic, it's Tuesday, or Monday.
Today's
That's
Monday.
Monday.
Today's Monday.
All day.
So if it was realistic to make it in the paper, it runs 2 consecutive weeks, 10 days after, so we're at, for a month,
First meeting in February.
so that's February, right?
Yeah, February
Um,
1st.
My assumption is there will just be a single battery bid on it, and then, we can submit the building permit the same night. Hopefully everything goes well. I might just bid against it, just. We can just submit it the same night, and then if there's no hiccups, then we're ready to go mid-February.
Mid-February.
That's fine. I mean, I just, as long as I don't have a lot of, you know, friction on the deal, we're going full steam ahead. I'll have everything ready to go. It's just, I don't know if it would take till 1st February or end of April, or, so I've had things take much
Yeah.
longer than they ever intended to, so.
And honestly, it sounds like with the board here, everyone is okay with this
Yeah.
project.
Yeah.
As shown, but it's hard to issue a building permit
Yes,
or say, okay, go ahead and do it, when the building permit comes in and then it's a little different,
Right.
or there's issues, or, you know, we can't.
That
It's-
makes sense.
Well,
We gotta have it in order.
my honest, I mean, opinion doesn't matter a whole lot, but I would think it would be a better match for both entities here to
Yeah.
have a sale instead of a lease, just
Yeah.
because of what is taking place on that property, you know.
Yeah.
Legalities and everything aside, I'd rather it just be
Yeah.
this co-op's issue if anything ever happened, and you guys are,
Yep, I'm more comfortable with that as well.
I agree.
at some point, you gotta do this, or unless 99 years from now, and
Yeah.
Yeah,
your guys' grandkids can worry about it.
That has to be rezoned, or not rezoned, but replatted before it can be thrown in the paper, because you have to have a legal description or not?
You could just say so many
You
feet,
could
can't
say,
you?
yeah, off of, yeah.
Well, there's a legal description on that deed,
On that.
right? It's the 4 points and the size, and
Yeah.
it's lot 1 of some plat, or,
Yeah,
I don't look at the
down
deal.
the zones or
It's only
something.
along the west boundary
But-
of one particular lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we just need the distance off that west boundary,
Okay,
so
yeah.
many feet.
Can we accomplish that for Mr. Arns?
Before they go to
Before
press?
they go to press?
I don't do the legals, I think we might already be, I don't know if this week would be realistic to cover the first one, but the next 2 weeks
Yeah, I mean, either way, we're still sitting.
should still be before that first February meeting. I think.
And we'll get
Yeah,
it
you can
closed.
negotiate with Sharon, she'll get in there.
Yeah.
If it comes in the morning,
I'll bring it up with her.
I'll email Doreen tonight, yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, them technically, if the co-op had all 3 lots, you could leave it as all 3, or you could, at some juncture, take it and sell
could
it.
combine
Just
them.
combine it to one, doesn't it? Right? That's neither
Yeah,
here nor there.
that they can do it anytime.
That's just
yeah.
legal description for the
Yep.
Yeah.
accessory house.
I'm good with that plan.
Okay,
So action-wise, just direction to you, not a
Yeah.
motion.
yeah, basically, we'll get the you can give me an idea of what you're looking at for footage from that west boundary,
Mhm.
then I can get that drawn up first thing in the morning and get it over to the paper.
The county would have that. Legal description of it.
Well, as far as that plat, I've got that here. That's not a problem.
It would just be however those guys write that.
Yeah.
It's doesn't make sense to know the people, but
Yeah, but basically all we're looking at is we would have to do a notice that we're selling this many feet from this boundary.
oh,
So whatever footage you're needing,
Can you take it from this boundary here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Enough of that.
So then here you've already got those dimensions
Yeah.
spelled out.
okay. They're all on there.
you would want to purchase all of lot 1.
That's actually outside of lot 1. That's nothing right now.
Say that again?
That's actually outside of lot 1. You want to come up here?
I thought it was 1, 2, 3.
See, this is track 1A. You got 1, 2, and 3 here.
So what's that 1A, what's that mean?
That was, it's not part of this plat because this is the plat for
1A
Huber's
city?
first. And this was replatted of these blocks, but this is the, basically still what the city has. So I can look at that and see if I got a dimension for that.
It almost looks from a distance like that would be your 1/8.
Yeah.
So what are you
So if I can
thinking?
find the description for 1A, that's what you're purchasing.
Yeah, because they already own 1 and 2.
Oh,
And isn't 3 sitting on the isn't the seminary?
Cinema is
Yeah.
on the 3, yeah.
So yeah, so it would be, yep, I'm sorry, I thought it was 1, 2, 3. It'd just be
Okay.
1A,
So it'd be a portion of 1A.
Or do you want all of 1A?
all of 1A.
1A takes you all the
Oh,
way
wait,
to the street.
it would just make it look
Oh,
like you have a
yes.
normal.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
But we're on, our
You're on
town
1 and 2.
is on, that's 1A,
Yep,
Yeah,
Yeah,
and then what's this?
1.
1.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's gonna be 1A, 1, 2, 3, blah, blah, blah. So I thought this went 1, 2, I don't know, is what it is.
because everything on the other side of that plat that I gave you was basically that
The
1A.
.77
Yeah.
is 1A.
Yeah.
Yep.
okay. Well, that's fairly clean then.
Yeah, just find it.
All in
I'll get
its
all the time
entirety,
first thing in the
just-
morning too.
Yeah, so it'd just be the 4 hub points or pinpoints and the
For 1A.
whatever.
1A.
Yeah, when they write it, it's,
Yeah.
you know how.
Oh, yeah.
So that description is already gonna be in place, you wouldn't even have to resurvey or
Right.
anything like
That's
that.
what I'm saying.
If everything's
Be done.
pinned, yes.
Yeah, right. If you can find all the pins.
The only time it would have to be surveyed is if they wanted to make it all one single lot or
Yeah.
combine them together, right?
Yeah.
And it's just, and actually that would just be physically rewriting the verbiage. It's not really getting
Mhm.
city.
So let's pray around pins there.
Well, that there's a description that says it's pinned, even if the
Right.
pins are gone, if
Yeah,
there's a
that's right.
description that says it's
They
pinned.
just have to replace it.
Yeah,
Cool.
I'll work on it in the morning.
Thank you for doing that. And in the meantime, is it all right if I just, at some point, I'll just apply for that permit and we can just have it in queue until the day comes?
And then we can do it the first if everything else goes
Yeah.
great.
I thought Luke had put that in already. Well, I'll check with him to make sure he's got it in there.
Okay.
So, perfect.
Good luck.
Well, thanks for making
thanks
that.
for letting us on this, I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
You bet.
Yeah, Bob and I took a nice trip together.
Yeah.
Thought we were able to do it again.
Hey, you could have told us some more gas.
I'm
Okay, thanks you guys. I
Yep,
appreciate it.
thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
So then
Sorry, I
we need a
forgot,
motion-
Paul.
A motion to begin advertising. Are you ready for that then,
Yeah.
tonight?
Do we need a motion?
You have
Yeah,
enough
to
of a,
advertise it.
you have enough of a description that you can
Yeah,
put it into the motion?
track 1A.
Okay.
Make a motion to publish for sale, track 1A.
Second.
There is a motion and a second. Any discussion? If none, roll call.
Pillar,
Aye.
Stern,
Aye.
Hack,
Aye.
Wolf,
Aye.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
You bet.
Good luck.
Thank you, guys. Okay, we'll move on to reports. Water, sewer.
I talked to the boys today on water, and, you know, my concern on there not being much snow out there. Of course, we've had tropical weather, so that's our saving grace on any kind of freeze-ups. So we have had no freeze-ups or anything in town yet that they are aware of. And so we'll just kind of keep an eye on that. We'll want to move forward sometime to probably schedule a get-together with the residents up there where we talked about doing that work in the spring. I'd like to get that done sooner than later, to have a discussion as to shared cost or whose cost, you know, that type of thing. So now that we're after the holidays, maybe we can reach out to those impacted and see if we can find a time to have that discussion. And then we had some discussion on that, the drainage coming from the car wash. And they are continuing to pump, not at the rate that they were doing kind of when lots and lots of vehicles, although Paul shared that they're getting a lot of traffic through there now. So it's questioned whether or not they're the complete culprit on passing the silt and everything over. And we may want to reach out to Jared and maybe add that segment of line in there when we do get camera in town to take a look at that to see if there might be pipe damage or something under there that might be aiding and abetting. That's it.
Okay. Street, cemetery?
And nothing at this time.
Finance, busing, library?
Oh, anything.
I have
Thank you.
nothing with the police or fire. HCD is not here tonight. Jerry's not here tonight for president's report. We'll move on to 10A, Dakota Pump and Control Inspection Agreement.
Annual agreement with them. Pricing is still the same, as I said in the notes. The only change is still $560 for the main first station and $200 for each one. They added one on, as I said in the notes. If they have that one in there, we get the $200 pricing. Whether it's actually lift station number 4 or 2 or 3, it doesn't matter. So long as we had it listed, we get the benefit of the pricing on it. So in visiting with Ryan, he asked that you consider approving it as it is presented here. It's generally at least 100 to double if they come up without it being
Has
included.
he been kind of cycling through different lift stations each year, so we kind of get some?
Not really. That's his intention, is to start
Okay.
rotating through those other ones rather than just the main one
And
and then waiting
they're
for
okay.
a problem.
They're okay. I mean, you made the statement. It sounds like they've approved that we can call it lift station 4, but we can look at 2 or look at any of the other ones.
Yes, that's the way Ryan explained it to me, yeah.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2021 annual inspection agreement.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion?
So I had thought that they did them all, like every year, but I guess
No, they don't.
Okay.
Basically, the past practice has been if there's issues, then we have them look at it when they're up here and kind of go from there. Unless there's an actual malfunction, then we call them up and we pay them big time.
So then on the maintenance agreement, I thought in the past it said that they changed oil and stuff in the
Yeah.
cavities and,
Well, they do it in the main one.
yeah.
If we
that's
did
what I
any
thought.
other ones, then
On the
it
smaller
costs.
ones, they probably don't have any oil in there.
I'm not sure exactly how they work, but if there were issues and we addressed them in those other ones, they would charge us their actual rates for them.
Okay.
I like this approach, and each year we can cycle in a different lift station there and get eyes on it. Good.
So then on the lift station, is that just a single pump then?
Most of ours are dual pumps.
Yeah, so then is this just
No,
for?
this would be the inspection of that. Any actual parts are charged at the cost. This is just for the inspection and oil change. And
So 2 of them in that sump, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
as far as I know, all of them have 2 pumps
Yeah.
in there. Yeah.
Okay.
Any other discussion? If not, roll call.
Hack,
Aye.
Stern,
Aye.
Hiller,
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye. Motion carried. Now we have the 2020 city audit.
Received a letter from Rath and Mayor proposing to do the fiscal year end December 31, 2020 audit. Cost will not exceed $8,300, a little bit more than $500 higher than last year. Still
Do they-
quite a bit less than all the others.
Do they look at the HCD books at all as part of that audit, or
The only thing they look at is
the
the
disbursements
the
from
sales
city
tax to the HCD.
Okay, but not the stuff that Buster
Not,
oversees?
not the day-to-day activities, no, those are done by staff at the bank.
Okay.
So I know, I guess, like last year, or maybe the year prior, we got, I guess, prices from other outfits, right?
The only one that replied last year was iDaily, and their starting price was $15,000
Okay.
without doing some of the reports.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm guessing they didn't go down.
Yeah, I was gonna say, years ago, I thought this was only like
Oh my God.
$4,000 or something, but
Yeah, I think it was barely 5 when I started 10
Yeah.
years ago or 8 years ago, but yeah.
Motion approved.
second.
There is a motion and a second. Any more discussion? Roll call.
Hack,
Aye.
Stern,
Aye.
Hiller,
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye. Okay, under old business, we have Housing Authority Board appointment.
Who was notified that Darcy, I'm not even gonna try to say her last name, is interested in serving on the Housing Authority. Kirscheneider. This would be to fill Delmer's term.
Norwegian name, huh?
German.
This is the only person that I've received any contact from.
And who is she?
She works at the credit union right now.
Okay.
She's got some past experience in construction
And she's showing an interest.
and
Let's keep that in mind.
That's like, yeah, there's both.
Do we need a motion to?
yes, you would need a motion.
So moved.
A reminder, I guess, this would also serve on the Hazen Pioneer Apartments Board because that's just under the Housing Authority. So.
There is a motion on the floor.
I'll second.
Okay, there is a second. Any discussion?
I'm not gonna vote on this.
If no other discussion, roll call.
Hack,
Aye.
Hiller,
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Do I know her?
She's a girlfriend of mine.
Okay, then I've met her before. Okay. All you had to do was say that. I was trying to put the name and the face together.
As I told her, all they want is a warm on his body.
Yeah.
You kinda-
I'm saying that facetiously. I want somebody that really wants to do it, you know?
Moving on down to the approval of the bills.
Motion to approve the bills as presented.
Second.
There's a motion and a second on the floor. Any discussion? If not, roll call.
Pillar.
Aye.
Hack.
Aye.
Stern.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye. Motion carried. If there is no other business,
Thanks, Beth.
meeting adjourned.